my god, why did I watch this? Yo, what up everybody, I'm Rim. Like and subscribe and watch my other videos. So, I watched, no, for the sake of my own respect for the art of review and analysis, I will correct myself and say that I tried to watch Jada Pinkett Smith's Cleopatra documentary. But I couldn't get past the first episode, and I barely made it through that. The thing is, I wasn't even gonna bother trying to watch it because the moment that I saw the race swap in a fucking documentary, I knew. This was either rage bait or some form of pro-black supremacy propaganda bullshit, and I did not want anything to do with it. I know I need subscribers to build an audience, but I ain't no algorithm chaser, my guy. If I'm not interested in talking about something, I won't do it, unless like a commenter asks me to do it at least, or something like that. Peep how I haven't talked about Velma yet. Usually, I only review movies and shows for the sake of writing advice, or if I really think it's just hilariously bad. That's why it takes so long to put them out. I try and cover all of my bases, or at least as many as possible. Main reason is that literally everyone is already saying the same shit all the time about these topics. From Critical Drinker, to EFAP, to Nerdrotic, to Disparu, to Yellow Flash, to Young Rippa. Content creators who I enjoy, and many I am a fan of. I love EFAP and Critical Drinker, and I enjoy some of Disparu and Young Rippa's videos, but they all tend to talk about the same topics and regurgitate the same points a lot of the time for a lot of topics I've noticed. Although it's not exactly their fault, since most of the crap coming out of Hollywood is pretty much fucked up in the same way about 95% of the time. And Cleopatra is no different. So let's get it out of the way. She was Macedonian, and Macedonians are Greek, and Greeks are white. Or at the very least, fair-skinned, but not black. Jada Pinkett Smith just made a fan fiction and called it a documentary. And you cannot tell me that this version of Cleopatra is not a self-insert. See, look at this. She basically hired her own stunt double. Don't tell me you don't see the similarities. And I was gonna make a wish fulfillment joke, seeing as Cleopatra has hair, but nameless as I am, I don't want Simp Smith to come and ninjutsu his way out of my closet and death strike my ass into next Tuesday. And I get it, his wife is a survivor, so it makes sense that they're a bit sensitive.
I've been having issues with hair loss.
God hath dealt her a losing hand, so as a man of integrity, I won't let the serpent talk me into taking a bite out of that apple. That fruit do be hanging low though. So, the reason why I chose to talk about this now is because while I was at work, I had my headphones in and I was listening to a lecture about Albert Camus, a philosopher who pushed absurdism. And during it, they read one of his lectures. I think they called it The Human Crisis, or it was about what he called the human crisis or something. I'm not completely sure. And just a disclaimer, I'm not some philosophy expert. I do enjoy learning about it, and I'm writing a book, and throughout the book, I'm working on exploring the interactions between different fictional human societies and religions through the lens of different philosophies. So, I've been doing a lot of research on the topics, and while doing said research, something stood out to me in this lecture, and it might have been in others as well, and I just didn't notice it. Take a look.
The ministry was apparently concerned that he would be too political and wanted him to stick exclusively to the subjects of theater and literature. Yes, this is an interesting generation. Faced with the absurd world its elders had concocted, it believed in nothing and yearned to rebel. The literature of its time was in revolt against lucidity, against narrative, and against the very idea of a sentence. Music was rejecting melody, and as for philosophy, it taught us that there was no truth, only phenomena.
Did you notice it? I tried to cut out a bunch of the fluff, so that what I wanted to talk about was easier to understand, but in the beginning, they are talking about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs considering Camus too political. And they just wanted him to focus on talking about literature and movies, since he was there as a literary speaker, since he was an author. And he himself is complaining about the same shit that we complain about today. This type of shit has been happening since the 1930s, where a younger generation is raised to be just a bunch of morally and creatively bankrupt pricks. And honestly, although he's citing what we would consider millennials and Gen Z in our time period, ages around 20s and 30s, nowadays we also have the issue of middle-aged and elderly elites who are so emotionally and mentally stunted that they haven't aged past their late teens, influencing the least intelligent and most impressionable of these generations with these insane concepts such as black supremacy and the demonization of heterosexual white men. Or the idea that facts are irrelevant so long as your grandmother told you that historical documents and research are wrong. And Cleopatra is a symptom of this disease festering into a gangrenous rot upon the flesh of American society. And that rot is quickly spawning a cancer that will overtake its heart. There is a reason why people in Egypt are so pissed about this topic, and that is because when you rewrite history, it should be cited as fiction so that you are not corrupting the minds of future generations with your insanity. And after watching this woman commit this intellectual crime, I think it is all too clear who the person Will Smith should have given the 5-finger palm strike to. And I was going to show you some of the brain rot from Twitter and in articles, but honestly, I felt genuinely frustrated by this. Because every article was the definition of gaslighting, and it made my heart cry out to Will Smith even more, because this is the face of a man who is at his wit's end. And for any man or woman who has dealt with someone who is good at gaslighting, you know it can fucking tear you apart after a while, soul and all. And for anyone who has to deal with that bullshit, you need to get the fuck away from the person doing it before you end up just like him. This was just yesterday? Are you fucking kidding me?
Come on, boss. Let's just read this one.
Fine. Just this one.
Fact check. Did Jada Pinkett Smith blame white supremacy for poor Cleopatra ratings? I don't know. If John Wayne could get away with playing Genghis Khan, then a black woman can play Cleopatra. Hint, it's called acting for a reason.
It's a documentary, not a fiction. What's hard to understand? Look up what documentaries mean.
It's a docudrama. What's hard to understand? Look up what docudramas mean. God, you're so fucking stupid.
One was a film. The other was portrayed as a historical documentary, Holmes.
Yes, a docudrama. I haven't watched the movie yet. I'll get to it one day.
Are you fucking kidding me? This is what I mean. It's literal gaslighting. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to look up docudrama. The show was sold as a documentary, but I'll look up the definition of docudrama. Docudrama. A dramatized television movie based on real events. What does this prove? You actual fucking retard. The black community, my community, has become completely filled with actual stupid people. This is your fault. You and all of Hollywood deserve to burn in hell. Disconnect, my friends, and don't become sheep. Eventually, all movies and television shows are going to be written by AI. And when that happens, I implore you who are watching and anyone who will become a future subscriber and follower to take notice and choose to follow independent creators. Not just me, but a lot of other talented, not woke people. Because honestly, this thing that Hollywood is pushing is actually just different forms of discrimination, and it's amoral. Anyway, I'm done for now. Go on ahead and click that subscribe button. I need your help to get me to 50 subs right now. It is a small goal, but it is temporary, and it is my goal. And only you. Specifically, yes, you. I see you. You're the only one that can help me, and I appreciate your help. Okay, thank you. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.